Okay, so hello and welcome to yet another Gaming Masters video. So today we're going to be playing the Mirror's Edge beta once again. This is our third video for this kind of like beta series, and this is going to be a live commentary and it's going to be our beta in review. So we're going to be providing feedback and our opinions about the Mirror's Edge Catalyst beta, which has been running recently, and I'm going to give my overall opinion on the game during the beta phase. Now, this is pre-release, obviously, so things will change before launch. And also, please do bear in mind this game has also been delayed by 2 weeks. It's now out in June, not the end of May. So we do have a short while before this game will be released, as we're now at the end of April. So, I've played the game on Xbox One and also PS4, and we're going to be doing some missions that you wouldn't have seen on our channel just yet. The first mission we're going to be doing is this Be Like Water. I'm going to try and make sure that we complete the beta on our channel. So this is like the second part. You have seen a bit on PC, you have then seen a little bit extra on Xbox One, and now you're going to be having the last bit of the beta. So I'm not sure how long this game in review will be. I'll probably be doing a bit of a summary during the first part, and then I'll just leave you to watch the rest of the gameplay afterwards. We'll see what happens with how long we've got left of this beta, so let's get straight into the game.
Where's the dead drop?
It's a drone.
Slight change of plans. They want to use another dead drop
So,
nearby.
I've been playing it on PC and Xbox One, as I previously mentioned, and I personally find the Mirror's Edge franchise a lot easier to play on console. I've always found it a lot easier to play on the console. You can play it on PC with a controller, as far as I'm aware. However, I personally just prefer it on console. It's a lot easier to play. Now, I'm not sure which platform I'm actually going to be getting it on at launch. I've not played it on PS4 just yet. However, by the time the game is actually out, I will actually have the PS4. Okay, so I've already failed a mission. That's perfect. Brilliant start to the video. But yeah, as I said, I've not played it on PS4 just yet, so I'm not sure which platform I'll be getting it on. It depends if I've got my PS4 by the time the game is out, which will be highly likely. I'm thinking of getting it on PS4 mainly because it would be a good game to get started. This is my first game on the PS4, so we'll see what happens with that. I personally dislike the whole combat. I don't think that combat is something that works in the Mirror's Edge franchise, in my personal opinion. I haven't finished the first game just yet. I'm probably going to be playing through that as a kind of like walkthrough on our channel at some point soon, just for a bit of a laugh. But I'm not a huge fan of the combat that you have in it. It's definitely improved compared to the first game, because you have more methods of attacking the enemies and stuff like that. But I just don't like it. It's very Mortal Kombat-esque, and what I mean by Mortal Kombat-esque is it's repeatedly pressing the same button. You're going to be trying to dodge enemies with different combinations. You're going to be hitting them with the X button, and that's it. You don't have any weapon pickups, at least Faith doesn't. And there are no guns in it either, so it's always going to be the melee punching style of combat, and personally I don't enjoy that form of combat as much. Obviously it does... What? How did I'm not sure how I failed that. So yeah, I find the repetitive button pressing, especially on controller, fairly annoying. I find it annoying on all games, to be honest, if you're repeatedly pressing a different combination of buttons. They do advise that you try different combinations of attacks, because the enemies learn how you supposedly attack them, which is interesting. However, I haven't noticed a huge difference. And personally, I find the combat slightly clunky. It runs really well on PC. I think I prefer the controller setup with Mirror's Edge game. So I might even get it on PC and plug in my controller. That is a likely option. I find, as I said, I find the combat clunky. The Xbox One, why is this? The Xbox One version of the game doesn't seem to be particularly well optimized. I've had a few frame rate issues, especially the mission before this one where you were going around corners quite a lot and punching enemies and stuff like that quite a lot. I found it fairly unstable there with the frame rate, and it was noticeably unstable. Now, I've got a decent PC and I didn't have a single issue, which is nice because it means that it's well optimized for PC. I have an i5 16 gigs of RAM and a GTX 970, so it's not the best PC that you could have. It could have had an i7, 32 gigs of RAM, and an i7, a Titan or a 980 Ti, for example, or even some of the new GPUs coming out soon. However, it shows that it's not just like the big, decent PCs that are needed for this game, which is always nice. Now, the missions seem to be fairly, like, you're going to be doing the parkour, which is part of, like, the, which is,
Watch your step.
oh, okay. I see what I've done wrong. I'm not supposed to collect that. Just yet. I think you have to go in an order for it, which is fine. I'll do that next time. But yeah, there are a few... The way that the story works. Now, during the beta, it's not particularly clear. I think it's the first mission of the game, which is perfectly fine because you get the background behind Faith, and they don't want to be giving any spoilers as such. But I've never, with the first Mirror's Edge, part of the reason behind me not completing it is because I just didn't have the I didn't have the, like, I didn't have the I want to, damn it. I didn't have the, like, I want to finish this, I want to complete it, I want to win kind of feeling. I played it because I wanted to play it. I liked the concept behind free running and stuff like that. I'm just not sure how well it's put together. Obviously, this is a reboot as such, because they said this is the way that they wanted the game to be. It's open world to an extent, and yeah, I mean, I like it. The way that the storyline has been put together so far during the beta seems to be interesting. Now, obviously, this isn't the full game, you're not going to have the full experience, and there is going to be stuff that you wouldn't have seen just yet. So we'll have to see what they do with that at the full launch. I find it fairly repetitive as well. So if you're okay with... you have a bit of variety of the enemies and stuff like that, don't get me wrong. And there's always going to be a little bit of a different approach to each mission, don't get me wrong. However, there are some things which I find slightly too repetitive. So it's always the same enemies. There are like one or two that are slightly different. It's hard to work out the combinations. Like, you're always going to be pressing X to attack the enemies, and there are different ways that you're supposed to be taking them out. I'm not sure how the upgrade system works. I've only had the ability to do one upgrade so far. You do go through a kind of like combat training simulator kind of thing in the first mission or two. But yeah, it's fairly basic combat, which I know it's not a game that's supposed to be for the combat as such, but if a game puts combat in, personally I think there should be a bit of variety. It shouldn't always be the same thing, and in my opinion it's the same thing every time at the moment. You're always pressing X, you'll be pushed back by the enemy, things like that. During the cutscenes it gets quite annoying sometimes with the kind of like white screen that they decide to... Right, that was something I liked, because how did I fail it? I don't understand how I failed the mission there. Honestly, I don't know. I just looked over the edge briefly and it failed me. See, that's another thing, like, you fail a mission, but you're not actually told what you've done wrong. Like, there's no countdown.
If you stop or make too many mistakes, you won't make it.
It says if you stop or make too many mistakes. So maybe that's why that's maybe why I failed it, but it's not particularly clear because not everybody listens to the commentary. Like what I'm doing right now, I'm not listening to what the guy in the background of the game is saying.
Well, in that case I could be sore tomorrow.
I'm just playing the game and I don't read the like subtitles either as such. So it's definitely...
Be careful you don't stumble. Don't let them catch you.
What? I was trying to get that guy. Damn it. So yeah, it's not particularly clear. You don't have any warning that you're kind of like standing around a little bit too much. Like for example there, I was trying to attack the enemy, but I didn't move close enough, so didn't hit him. I then got marked as inactive in-game as such, and I failed the mission. That I find quite annoying. The HUD seems to be fairly basic, which obviously works, because it's not supposed to be like a game which has a complicated HUD. You don't have like ammo for guns and things. You don't have anything that you really need that is going to be a major benefit as such to your combat. You're just going to be pressing LB to jump. I think you can change around the controls a little bit, and then you can also press X to beat down the enemy with your melee, and then you have a few different options that you can do as well with the way that you like move around in the game. So you can, for example, if you give more attack damage if you do it from a jump, or if you are like, say if you're coming off a springboard or a wall, you can have a bit more attack like that. That took more damage off supposedly than one melee hit would do, and that's, I mean, the world seems to be fairly small. Once I finish this mission I'll show you the map. It might just be a beta version of the map, like what you can do in the beta version of the game. So we'll see in a moment, and also release obviously.
You're almost there. Keep it up.
So yeah, as I said, a few frame rate issues on Xbox One. There you go, finished that mission now.
I hope it's worth all the trouble.
So
More than worth it. You helped a lot of people today, Faith. Talk more soon.
okay, so here's the map. Now, this is, I'm not sure if this is the full game map or just for the map, for the beta. So it shows a bit of content there. You have the transit hub, Concord Plaza, Centurion Yards. The rest of the areas I haven't unlocked. Now, the thing that's worrying me is the length of the game. Now, you could complete the previous one in 3 hours.
I like using the
If you did a speed run.
The billboards are perfect for that.
So that's slightly
message.
disconcerting if that's
It's
what
enough if only one of them opens their
the
eyes
length
to
of this
what
game,
we showed
especially
them.
because it's supposed to be open world. Personally, I prefer it if there was more content. Like, you're going to be picking up bits and bobs here and there. So you're going to be picking up things like that. And the phones and things, but I'm personally not sure if there's going to be enough content at full launch. We'll just have to see what they do at the full launch, obviously. The combat, the movement seems to be pretty fluid. Obviously, EA have gone quite a way to get some... Now, I wish I didn't pick up those extra bits and bobs earlier, because I've not made that retry. EA have obviously gone towards the parkour route, obviously with Titanfall, Mirror's Edge and stuff. So, they've been slowly making it more and more fluid with the movement. Obviously, it's different development teams. I'm not sure how many years they've been working on Catalyst. I'm fairly certain it would have been quite a while now, quite a few years. I'd be surprised if it's only been a year or two. I mean, I think we had it announced. I'm trying to think. I think it was announced last year, so I'm not sure. Like, if it was in development for the previous game, that was 2008, so almost 8 years ago. I'm fairly certain they haven't been working on this for 8 years. I'm not sure if there's any actual content in the base game, so I'm not sure. Maybe they've just been perfecting this, or they weren't sure if they were going to make another addition to the game. So we'll see. But I'm definitely looking for more content. It was so close then. So yeah, it's an interesting iteration of the game. No complaints there. They've definitely upgraded the graphics. They've definitely tried to do it the way that they wanted to do it. The movement seems to have been perfected a little bit more. It's a shame that it's repeatedly pressing LB on the Xbox or space on the PC. Obviously, you can do different key bindings and stuff like that, but so that seems fairly fluid there, where I just moved across there. So, as I said, like, they seem to have perfected the bits that needed to be moved around a bit, but the combat seems to be fairly clunky. I've noticed a few issues with graphic issues and frame rate on Xbox One. Well, the graphic issues have been a little bit on PC, like textures haven't been as good as they could have been. Which is a shame, but just done it then. Jeez, that was close. That was really close. Let's just have a look around the open world map now. So yeah, that is really fluid. But then I've had a few issues with frame rate as well in some places. So I do like that it's open world. That's definitely a nice addition compared to the main game, the original game, because open world is so much better for a game like this. But I'm just not sure if there's going to be enough content. They seem to have put a lot of time and effort into creating the open world and putting loads of different collectibles and stuff like that around on the open world iteration of the game, but they've not during the beta. There doesn't seem to be a huge amount of content now. A lot of people during betas use the beta to work out if there's going to be enough content. Now obviously can't go off everything that's in the beta, but you have a look at things like For example, The Division. People saw the amount of content in The Division and were like, this doesn't have enough content, and yeah, people haven't had enough content in the Division's beta, and they've seen the full game, and yeah, it's been a bit sparse on the side of content, which is a shame. Now, don't like that you're always so high up and you always fall down. It really annoys me that you constantly die. So yeah, you can't go simply off the beta to see how much content the full game's gonna have. But if you have a look at this, like, it seems to be like, no, that's stupid. The way that betas tend to work with, like, this isn't a multiplayer game, is it? No. That is stupid. That is stupid. I dislike that. No. That's ridiculous. Where am I supposed to go? Because you always fall off. There we go.
Runner, I have a job for you.
No, you don't. Not while I'm going to take it, at least. I mean, they seem to put a lot of effort into the map of the world. As you can see here, some of the textures look a bit iffy, as such, for long distance at least, in my opinion. But we can just see what they do. Now, I'm fairly certain that that zip line we're supposed to be able to go on. Maybe it's in the other direction. I'm slightly disappointed that you're always really high up. Obviously, you're going to be doing parkour, so you're going to be with that area of verticality, but you're never on that ground bit, as far as I'm aware. And yeah, okay, it kind of makes sense, but you fall off so much and always die. And look at those cars down there, like, that car is just going around in circles, not even on the roundabout. So yeah, there are a few improvements that they could do. Obviously, it's a game that a lot of people are fairly excited for. EA have been working on this for a while, so yeah, people are excited for this game, and they seem to have made a few improvements. There are still a few more improvements, in my opinion, that could be made to make it the best game possible for the franchise. I'm not sure how many chances we could give the franchise, because like we've given it one chance as such with the original Mirror's Edge. Mirror's Edge Catalyst is like, oh, there's another kind of like graphical issue. That always happens in games, like you're in a specific position. Sometimes you're going to have a few parts of the map that you're not supposed to see, such. But yeah, I'm even, like, when you make a game, fans are going to be excited for it, obviously, because it's in some cases the first entry to the franchise. So you're going to be looking forward to it. If they then try and reboot the franchise as such to try and make it best the way that the developers wanted it, you're going to possibly have a few issues if that game isn't what the fans want, or if it doesn't work particularly well. Now, DICE are obviously the developer behind Battlefield. Their original background is first-person shooters, so making a first-person I'm not sure the exact category, but it's free running. It's nothing like a first-person shooter. There are no guns even in this version, so it may just be that they might have to. Obviously, depends how the full game works and what people think of the full game. But if they do make another iteration of Mirror's Edge, I would be slightly worried if this doesn't take off particularly well, and they decide to make another version of the game. If I was like in control of what EA did, I might possibly offload it to another team. I might have a bit more experience with open world games. Now, EA don't tend to do many open world games, but Respawn are similar, I suppose, because their background is first person, but they've perfected the kind of like parkour aspect of video games, in my opinion. But obviously, we'll just see what happens with this release in June. I like the content, don't get me wrong, it just seems a bit scarce in places, and if a beta is low on content, sometimes it does worry people. Obviously they're just trying to get you to test it, make sure it's working, but if, like, with open world games and betas, if you're worried about the small amount of content in the game and a few issues in the game, it may be a little bit hard. It may be slightly worrying, let's say, that there is such small amount of content during a beta for an open world game. Now, obviously, the die-hard fans, I'm probably going to enjoy this because I love the parkour aspects, but whether it takes off with reviewers and stuff like that, like us, we'll just have to wait and see for the full release, obviously. I would like to see what happens in the full game. I find this little bit here annoying that I'm like running, trying to go to places where I think I should be able to go, and I can't go there, and I end up falling off and dying, and that I find annoying. During cutscenes, I'm not sure if there have been any cutscenes in this bit of gameplay. The kind of like white flash is annoying. It's nice that they've got collectibles as well, I suppose. You have a little bit of variety where you can go, like you can go inside a few buildings here or there. So that's nice in some places. I'm not going to do a mission. But yeah, PC seems to be fairly stable. Xbox One have had, a few frame rate issues. PS4 have not tried out on the beta. It seems to be a bit of an improvement over the original one. We'll just have to see for the full release. I hope you've enjoyed this video. Now, I know this hasn't been a review, it's more been of an opinions kind of like video and a little bit of feedback in places. It's been a live commentary, so I found it a little bit difficult working out what to say because I've not had a huge amount of playtime during this beta because I've been doing other things such as started new jobs, so I've not had a huge amount of time on the game. So we'll just have to see with what happens at the full launch. Hope you've enjoyed this video. Don't forget to like, follow, and of course as always subscribe. We'll hopefully have a walkthrough of Mirror's Edge Catalyst on the channel. That's something I'd hopefully be able to do for you guys. I'm looking at a PS4 version of the game at the moment, so we'll see. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to like, follow, and of course as always subscribe. It's very much appreciated. And I shall see you in the next video.